The sound of the doorbell ringing disturbed my deep concentration on the TV. Curiosity piqued. I got up from where I was sitting and walked over to the door. Looking through the peephole, I wondered how on earth she had managed to find me. I considered just going back to the TV and ignoring the doorbell, but then figured if she had gone to the trouble to find me, she wasn't going to go away until she got whatever it was she came for. I hooked up the safety chain and then opened the door just enough that we could see each other. "What the hell do you want?" I asked. "To talk to you," she replied. "Didn't the way I left tell you that I had no interest in ever seeing you again, let alone talk to you? I have no idea why you left. I came home, and you were gone. No note telling me why, just all your things were gone. You can't be serious. How could you not know why? I know you heard me when I told you what would happen if you went through with what you were going to do. May I come in?" I figured I'd best get it over with, and I undid the chain, stepped aside, and she came in. She sat down on the couch and asked me for a glass of water. As I went to get it, my mind went back to the night that started it. I'd just gotten home from work, and I found my wife, Alice, all dressed up. "I didn't know we had plans to go out," I said. "We don't. I have a date tonight." "A date? With who?" "You don't know him. He's a man I work with. Since he recently started working here, hardly many people know him. He requested me to accompany him to Sylvia's birthday celebration because he didn't want to attend alone. He does know you are married, doesn't he? It doesn't matter. Nothing is going to happen between us. Besides, I don't want to go to Sylvia's party alone, and you won't go with me, so I told him I'd go with him. You understand why I refused to. I detest being around that witch, Sylvia. I don't want you to interact with her in any way. Get used to it. She's been my best friend since the 1st grade, and I won't turn my back on her just because you don't like her. I don't like her because she has been divorced 4 times, and each time it was because she got caught cheating on her husband. And I don't like going to her parties because of all the drugs she has around. So you think that just because she cheated, I'm going to cheat too, just because I'm around her? Now that you mention it, I think it is highly likely. Now you are dressed in an enticing little black dress, preparing for a date with another man. It is obvious you are dressed for him, and I can only think of one reason why you would dress provocatively for him. That's a rotten thing to say to me. No, it isn't. What did you wear to the last 2 parties at Sylvia's? I'll tell you in case you have forgotten. You wore slacks and a blouse to one and jeans and a sweater to the other. There isn't any doubt in my mind as to why you are dressed like you are for this party. Sylvia has finally talked you into trying someone else. I know from snippets of conversation I've overheard that she has been after you to join in her screw parties for years. I guess she has finally gotten what she's been after. You're wrong. It isn't like that. Easy enough to prove me wrong. Don't go. Stay here with me. I can't. Tom is counting on me, and he is more important to you than I am. All I can say, Alice, is that if you go, you are kissing your marriage goodbye. Don't be ridiculous. This won't hurt us at all. Don't wait up, she said as she headed for the door. Goodbye, Alice, I said as she walked out the door. I think she heard the finality in the way I said goodbye, and she hesitated for a second or two, and then she was gone. Did I overreact? I didn't think so. I was good friends with a lot of the guys in Sylvia's circle, and from them, I had learned all about what happened at Sylvia's parties after the people who didn't care to participate had gone. They turned into screw parties. I learned that while Alice didn't take part, she did stick around and watch. I also heard about Sylvia telling Alice to forget about that fuddy-duddy you are married to and join in. You know you want to. And that Alice always answered that yes, she did want to, but wouldn't unless I joined in. My joining in was never going to happen. I'd spent countless hours trying to talk Alice into breaking away from Sylvia and to stop going to her parties, but I could never make it happen because of that BFF relationship. I spent a good part of the evening wondering what I should do. I was thinking divorce, but I really didn't know that Alice would cheat on me. But could I live with her giving her to hell with you, Sam? I'm going attitude? I'd had 7 of what I thought were great years with her. The only bad was her constantly spending time with Sylvia, whom I just could not stand. She was trash as far as I was concerned, and Alice knew it. One might ask why, if I knew so much as I did about the goings-on at Sylvia's, I didn't just confront Alice. The answer to that was simple, at least to me. I had to know if Alice would cheat on me. If she was of a mind to cheat and I confronted her about Sylvia's parties and her stated desire to join in, would she just pull back from Sylvia's parties and do it somewhere else at a different time and place? I might never know if she did it some other time and place, but if she did do it at Sylvia's, there were people I knew who would tell me. I still hadn't made up my mind on what I was going to do when I went to bed. The ringing of the bedside phone woke me up, and as I sat up, I saw the time on the alarm clock and I wondered who would be calling me at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hello? Hello, idiot. Did I wake you up? What do you want, Sylvia? Just calling to let you know your wife has finally found herself a real man. What the hell are you talking about? Just what I said. Alice has found herself a real man. A man who can give what she really needs. Here, just listen, and reluctantly, I listened as the sounds of intimacy filled the airwaves, and then I heard, "Oh God, yes, take me, please, please, hard." The voice was the voice of my wife. I hung up the phone. 30 seconds later, it rang again, and I knew who it would be, so I picked up the handset and dropped it on the floor. One of the good things about living in an apartment is that you don't accumulate a lot of stuff, because you have no place to put it. Omega. I had everything I wanted packed and loaded into the truck in just over an hour. By 3 o'clock, I was checked into a motel, and when the bank doors opened at 9 o'clock, I emptied all our accounts. Next, I drove to my workplace, informed Jake that I was quitting without notice, explained why, and he understood. He handed me my final paycheck, helped me load my tools, and even offered to be a reference. Wishing me well, I left. My phone had been ringing incessantly since 7 o'clock, and every call was from Alice. Frustrated, I turned it off and made a mental note to get a new number. However, I hesitated, wondering if Alice could somehow retrieve the new number from our cell phone provider. Eventually, I decided to toss the phone in the trash and buy a track phone from Walmart. No need to deal with credit cards since Alice and I didn't have any joint accounts. By 10 o'clock, I was on the road, heading to a destination I hadn't yet chosen, somewhere far away from Alice. I eventually settled in Castle Rock, Colorado, found a job in my field, and started my new life. If there was a divorce, Alice would have to initiate it. She'd know where I was after a year, and she could use abandonment as a reason. Not that it mattered. I had no plans to get married again. The next 2 years were good. I dated and had a friend with benefits. But then, this happened. You heard me when I warned you about that date, but you ignored me and went anyway. So, I did what I said I would. How did you find me? A very expensive private detective. Why bother? Because you're my husband and the whole where you go, I go thing. As for the money, I sold the house, the one I was awarded in the lawsuit. You wasted your time and money. We're done? Don't bother denying anything. Your witch of a best friend called me at 1 in the morning, and I heard it all. Maybe I should have sought revenge more vigorously. But let me tell you what happened since you weren't there to witness it. I didn't attend that party to get involved with anyone. Sylvia asked me to dress provocatively, but it wasn't my intention. Todd thought he'd hit the jackpot, sticking to me like glue. The party was fun until I felt dizzy and lightheaded. Sylvia had me lie down in a spare bedroom, and that's when things took a dark turn. I woke up next to Bob Flanagan, who seemed surprised I'd cheat on you. I promptly slapped him and headed to the hospital, where they confirmed I'd been drugged with Rohypnol and ecstasy. The police were called, and I tried reaching you, but you didn't answer. I found out why I couldn't reach you when I got home and found you gone. When the police talked to me, I told them what I knew and what little I remembered. The first one they talked to was Flanagan, and he told them he had no idea I was drugged. He thought nothing of taking me because that is what always happened at Sylvia's parties, and I knew it and had even stood around and watched. He said he figured that I had finally decided to give it a try. He gave them the names of all the men he knew of who had done me that night. The police thought that Todd had to be part of what happened to me that night, and when they leaned on him, he rolled over and told them it was all Sylvia's doing. She just knew that I really wanted to join in, so she decided to give me a push. She figured that once the drug wore off, I'd still be into it, and I'd love it and want to do it again. She was right about that. I did love it, but where she messed up was she didn't pay any attention to the fact that I told her over and over again that I would not join in without you. You had to be on board with it, or I wouldn't do it. Once I was done with the hospital and the police, a policeman drove me home, and I found out why I never got an answer when I tried calling you. I broke down and cried for 2 days, and then I got an attorney and sued everyone who had been at that party and who had done me. Most of the suits were thrown out because they all said the same thing Flanagan had said, but the suits against Sylvia and Todd were valid because the two of them had conspired against me. I won my suits, but Sylvia had nothing but her house, so I was asked if I would settle for it. She still owed $30,000 on it, but with what I got from Todd, I was able to pay it off, and then I sold it. Once I had the money from the sale of the house, I hired a private detective, and here I am. And you wasted your money on the PI and the time it took you to get here. For what? To get us back together? I love you and belong with you. You would have been smart to have spent your money on an attorney to get you a divorce. You could have used abandonment as grounds. I don't want a divorce, Sam. What you want or don't want doesn't matter to me anymore, Alice. I didn't do it willingly, Sam. I was drugged. But you did willingly walk out the door, even though I told you if you walked out that door, you were kissing your marriage goodbye. Well, you ignored what I said and walked out that door again. The way I left should have told you that you would be wasting your time and money to get here. I have to be here if I'm going to put us back together. You aren't paying any more attention to what I'm saying now than you did on the evening you walked out on me. Pay attention, Alice. I don't want you. You can't put us back together because I do not, emphasis on the do not, want to get back together with a woman who could do what you did. Damn it, Sam. Can't you understand that I did not do it of my free will? I was drugged. You are the one not understanding things, Alice. It isn't what happened at Sylvia's, although I did expect it to happen, and I warned you it was likely to happen. It is what you did before you walked out the door to go to Sylvia's. It was the total disrespect for me you showed before leaving for your date. Don't be ridiculous, Sam. This won't hurt us at all. As you walked out that door to go on a date with another man killed any us that could have been. Now please leave. I need to get ready for dinner. I'm hungry. I'll eat with you, and we can talk. I'm going to convince you that you are wrong, WR, when you say we can't put things back together. Her words hadn't even faded before the front door opened, and an extremely good-looking blonde walked in, calling out, "I'm home, babe. What's for dinner?" Then she saw Alice and asked, "Who is this?" "This is Alice. You've heard me speak of her a time or two. Alice, this is Beverly." Beverly surprised Alice when she walked over to her, bent down, gave her a hug, and said, "Thank you for sending Sam to me." And then she turned to me and asked, "What's for dinner?" "I thought we would go out. I made reservations at Angelo's." "I'll go change. Nice meeting you, Alice. Maybe we can get together sometime and compare notes." And then she headed for the bedroom. "You need to be leaving now, Alice. I have to change for dinner." "Does she know you are still married?" "She does. You need to let her know I'm going to fight for you, Sam. Get real, Alice. For you to fight for me, you would need to spend time with me, and that just isn't going to happen. Get a divorce and find yourself another man. And when you do find him, don't pull the on him that you pulled on me." There were tears sliding down her cheeks when she said, "Damn it, Sam. Why can't you understand that I did not cheat on you? I was drugged. So what? You had to be there in order to be drugged, and that is the point. I told you not to go. I told you when you opened the door to leave that if you left, you were kissing your marriage goodbye. You ignored me. You left.
Marriage over.
Simple as that. Now please leave. I have a dinner date to get ready for. I'm not going to divorce you, Sam, and you need to let your girlfriend know that she is never going to be able to marry you. She can't marry me. She's already married and in the same boat I'm in. Her husband won't give her a divorce, and she won't waste the money trying to get one. I'll go, but I'm not going far. I can't get you back long distance, so I'm moving here. I'm going to get you back. No, you aren't, Alice. I've already said this several times, and you need to get it through your head that I mean it. I do not want you. Now go. She was crying, but she left. And that's it. That was my story. Goodbye, and thanks for the support.